Hey everybody. Sorry for being away. Was on vacation, and so no videos while I was on vacation. All right. Um, Kind of a somber video. Just want everybody's raw on this and everything, but um, just express a little bit about Charlie Kirk's assassination and today's anniversary of September 11th, 2001. Charlie Kirk, regardless if you liked the man or not, became a cultural icon because he believed in something very strongly that our founding documents allows. Again, regardless if you agreed with what his positions were or were not, he was unafraid to speak his mind on those particular issues. And as a society, when we value another person's ability to speak, we're all better for it. I just, for full disclosure, I am a born again Christian. I am a conservative. I voted for Donald Trump 3 times, and not every single thing I agreed with on that he said. Not because from a theological standpoint or anything of that other nature, but sometimes it's just a youth thing. I'm, my late 40s, pushing 50 years old. So the older you get, the more refined you get in making arguments and points. So I can understand why someone who might even be a little bit younger would get, put off by Charlie. But that's it for me. I disagree with how he, stated some things, not really with what he said. That being said, who cares? Why should any of us, no matter what our politics is, there's plenty of people on the left that are, I think are completely unhinged. I just do. Completely unhinged with what they say and how they say it. But guess what? So what? I go on about my dadgum business, And even whenever I was younger, I didn't let those people really bother me. I just didn't. But Charlie Kirk was a human being, first and foremost. Regardless if you believe in Christianity or not, you might be an atheist, you might be some other faith, whatever. I don't care. He was a human being. He was a husband. He was a father. Now his wife is a widow and his children are orphans. And all because of what? Because somebody didn't like what he said. Okay. The people that I see on news media and social media who, basically say, oh, well, this is his fault. He brought this on himself, and we're going to blame Donald Trump for his rhetoric. And listen, okay, all of that is a bunch of crap. All right, you might be watching this and thinking, oh, well, I'm lost in some sauce. No, you're lost in the sauce. If you actually think that what someone says is responsible for someone else's actions, okay, you can't make me mad unless I allow you to make me mad. Okay, that's just the truth. Okay, these people, regardless of who they are, that goes around assassinating people, that's on them. Okay, even if it's just a street fight, you made me punch you. No, I punched you because I lost self-control. I have no self-respect. Okay. This person who killed Charlie Kirk, and there's speculation about who he is because of what the local FBI people, I saw the press conference this morning, believe they found, etched into the bullets. And they're I'm going to let the investigation speak for itself. I'm not going to try to speculate on who the person is at this particular point in time. That being said, that individual person is fully responsible for the actions in which they took that killed Charlie Kirk. It is tragic, it's sad, it's heartbreaking, but it is also just a reaction to in a understanding of just kind of where we're at in culture. Conversely, with where we were 24 years ago, we were watching 24 years ago today. We were watching something that none of us could, in our lifetimes could, especially if you were 50 and younger, could really understand and articulate, because we didn't have a reference point. Now, the older generation had lived through Pearl Harbor that was still alive, or JFK. They had a reference point. But people like myself, I'm 48 years old now, and I was 24 then. So that was something that we just didn't have a reference point. And sure, we were angry. The whole nation came together. The whole nation is sadly not going to come together for Charlie Kirk. Now, what Charlie Kirk did in his death, I think, is going to completely galvanize a response that the shooter never wanted or intended. Actions have consequences. And I think if you're on the political left and you're watching this unfold, you very well could have lost the next 2 generations of young people. And from my standpoint, that's great. Okay, because I think a lot of you guys have gone completely nuts on a bunch of different issues. But that's for the Democrats to figure out as a party, who they are, what they want to be, where they want to go. And the Republican Party has the same challenges. There's no doubt about that. I am a Donald Trump supporter, but I'm not what you would call a hardcore MAGA, cheerleader. I'm not that. Donald Trump's got plenty of things he's got to work on. And if he ever does, he does. If he doesn't, he doesn't. But overall, I'm pretty satisfied. There's a couple things that I'm not as crazy about, but 90% of the time I support what he says and does. But, so what? Who cares, right? I didn't care for Barack Obama, but as a member of the military, and even as a veteran, if I was ever in his presence and someone tried to kill him, because I believe in our founding documents and who we say we are as a people, I would take a bullet for the man, even though I don't care for him personally, but he represents something that is far higher and far greater than who I am just as a citizen. Okay, he was a duly elected president twice, and he still holds that title. So, if it ever came down to it, yes, I would still lay down my life for Barack Obama or Bill Clinton or Hillary Clinton or Joe Biden. Okay, politics has not broke me. Okay, it hasn't. It is sad if politics has broken you. Okay, I wish you well in your journey of healing. Okay, but the same thing goes for any other president. Okay, or member of Congress or whomever it might be. And I hope and pray this crap stops, where no one has to even act in that manner to take a bullet for someone else that they either agree or don't agree with. This crap's got to stop. 9/11 was horrible for a nation, an entire nation, where it impacted every single person. Okay, we still mourn. And this is 24 years ago. We still mourn it. It has shaped a whole entire generation. The flag you see behind me is a result of it. Okay, I served in Iraq, and that was 6-7 years after the fact. An event like 9/11 really reshaped who we are as a people. 9/12/2001 was a very unique day. other than some people on the left in the media that was chirping about, Bush's movements on the plane and why he didn't go straight back to Washington, D.C. Other than that, and that wasn't even overly widespread. But it was a section of the left-wing media that was pushing that idea and thought. Other than that, the vast majority, 90-something% of the country was like, okay, whatever our political differences are, that's crap, right? We all got attacked. And that's what we have to start really looking at as a people, because our society is going straight to hell. Okay, I don't care if you believe in God, you don't believe in God, whatever the case might be. If you can't objectively step back and just look at who we are in the last 20 years, 24 years, 50 years, whatever it might be, and you really think that we as a people are better than what we were at whatever point in history you want to say, if you don't think we're better, if you think we're better than we were before, then you obviously have no earthly idea what's going on in the society. And Charlie Kirk's assassination, it's a cultural icon moment for sure, but it's not going to completely reshape the entire country like 9/11 did. Other than the fact to say that a new movement of young people are going to go towards the political right to some degree or another because of, Charlie becoming a martyr, if you will. 9/11, again, was just different. And the older I get, and I'll try not to get overly emotional about it, but I really wish, and again, I don't care what your political ideas are, religious ideas, I don't really care. That's between you and your maker. But right after 9/11, 2001, it was a true great reset culturally. And while on an individual basis, I'm proud of myself on an individual basis to have never dehumanized somebody because of their politics. There was virtually none of that following 9/11. It really only took to about 2000 and definitely going into Iraq, definitely kind of started a real movement back towards this dehumanization, regardless if you agreed with going into Iraq or not. But by the midterms of 2006, it was politics as what we would know as normal. And then it just progressively got worse, from my estimation, following the midterms in 2006. But it is what it is. Again, consequences or events have consequences. And, but we have to get back to some place of respecting each other. Some of the people I've seen, primarily on TikTok, but others, when it comes to Charlie Kirk, they're happy about what happened. I don't understand that mindset. I just don't. I don't know. I don't have the words for that kind of depravity of mind. I don't. The only people that I have ever, and this is more from a military mindset, that I've ever, quote unquote, been happy to see die are true evil people that are terrorists. Uday and Saddam Hussein, okay, Osama bin Laden, al-Baghdadi, truly evil people, right, from a military standpoint. but a citizen that I disagree with. There's plenty of people on the left there's people on the right that I don't like. I personally think Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson are vile people, and they're quote unquote on the right, and I don't want anything to do with those people, but I probably would do something to myself if I ever got to the point where I was like, oh, well, they should be, done away with. I don't think that way, but there's a whole list of people on the political and cultural left that I just think are, nah, but I would never, ever want to see them harmed under no circumstances. And whoever would harm them, even if they were on my side of the political fence, should be held accountable for their actions and actions alone, and not the words of a Stephen Colbert or whatever, whoever it might be. I don't know. I honestly think, more so than fear, but I honestly think something really, really, really catastrophic is going to happen in this country. Primarily a terrorist attack that we can't fathom, that makes 9/11/2001 look like child's play. And I base that belief off very legitimate intel that's not United States government based, per se. But I do believe something extremely catastrophic is going to happen very shortly. And that very shortly could be another year or so, but it's coming because the people are here to do it. What are we going to do as a people? We just saw in North Carolina, and I can't pronounce the young lady's name from Ukraine that came here as a refugee. I can't pronounce her name, so I'm not going to try to butcher it, but we just saw her get murdered. It happened in August, but we didn't see the video till September, but we just saw her get murdered on a train. And it's heartbreaking to watch what happened to her. The fear that was in her face as she realized that she was stabbed and she was going to bleed out. And other people on the train was, regardless, I don't know what was really going on, but they were definitely more self-interested by looking at their phones and things of this nature. And this girl literally just was bleeding out, and then after 2 minutes someone tried to stop it, but it was too late. And it was probably too late from the very beginning, because I think it got her main artery. But what's going to happen on the streets of America whenever IEDs are going off and bands of Islamic terrorists are going through the streets murdering people? Are we going to be just on our cell phones and be like, oh, well, that's probably a Republican, or that's probably a Democrat, or whatever, and I'm just going to save myself? Now, granted, you have to save yourself. I'm not saying don't save yourself, but, are you going to aid another human being that's your countryman because you don't know, you don't want to take a chance in saving somebody that has a different view than you, right? What's going to happen? But, maybe people do the right thing, when this kind of event takes place and we band together. I don't know. Just my thoughts, about 20 minutes worth of it. I don't know. If you're happy that Charlie got killed, go do you, bud. I don't know. I don't know what to say for you. So, sad day, yesterday and today, but with the grace of God, we'll get through it. So, I'll see y'all later. Much love. Bye.